Hi everybody, you're listening to the Khandaan podcast by the You Podcast team, a bi-weekly podcast revisiting the movies of Amir Khan, Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan.
Every show we pick a random year from 3 decades of collectively 300 films the Khans have done and let our listeners vote which movie we should talk about. So it's entirely up to you.
Pick a team, make a vote, take us down nostalgia lane, punish us, or make us reassess a movie we dismissed.
We love the Khans, most of us, sometimes. And we would love for you all to be part of our Khandaan, because when it comes to the Khans in Bollywood, nothing else really matters.
It's basically like, it's monkeys throwing feces at a wall. That's basically what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And the wall as well as the monkeys are both news channels at this moment.
So, yeah, we got tons and tons and tons of things to talk about. And we welcome Shakeela, who tweets on Twitter as @GetFilmy. Shakeela, we have not had you on before Khandaan even existed. Before Khandaan was like a sperm cell in my brain. And I think last time we spoke was actually Joker from 2013 or something like that.
Not the Walking Phoenix one. Not the Walking Phoenix one, but the Akshay Kumar one.
Yeah, so I think that's
the
where...
Akshay Kumar Shirish Kundar one.
Yeah. So I'm now worried. Did that make you just quit Bollywood and Twitter? Like, I'm done. If this is what you're giving me, I'm done.
No, actually, those were my favorite years. Like 2012 and 2013, I feel were like peak Bollywood Twitter, like the best times. And then it just all went downhill from there. But my God, I can't believe, I was on You podcast for Joker. Because I wrote that one article that got me, like, he blocked me for that article. And like, there was something, I feel like that was when he was blocking everybody. So it's like not even celeb status. But, yeah, those were good times.
How many people have blocked you?
I quit after that.
Shakeela, how many people have blocked you? Do you know?
No, back then it was only Shirish, I'm pretty sure.
And now?
Back in 20... Now nobody yet. Like I'm still like treading the water on Twitter because I'm like, what can I say?
I don't
what
see
can
you
I
doing
not
that
say?
at all. You being very blasé about what you ate.
I mean, so like in the last few years, every time I would try to come back on and I would see like the Bhakt situation and the fandom situation, I'm like, whatever I say, someone's gonna have an issue with it. And I don't know why I became like so like intimidated by that. But yeah, after that I was like, you know what? That's just how it is. You just gotta jump in and like,
And now you see the hellfire we're in, so it's like nobody gives a shit. You could just do whatever you say. It's like wild card Thunderdome, bitches.
Yeah. And the funny thing... Exactly. And I have like no issue avoiding like completely ignoring the trolls. I think I'm gonna say this with my fingers crossed. Like I tend to have a thicker skin than most, and if I get like any like weird or like nasty comment, I'm just like I find it funny almost. So I just ignore them. But,
yeah. I think your return to Twitter was probably one of the highlights of the year. I'm so happy you're back. And I'm so happy you're on the podcast.
I'm blushing. Thank you.
It is part compliment, but also partly saying how shit this year is that this is a compliment. So you need to take it both ways.
I know. Oh God. This is what I miss about Twitter, where it's like you're insulting and praising at the same time.
But that's like really old school Twitter though. Like people don't do that anymore. Like these days everybody is either like super woke and super earnest or like I'll make a joke and like people don't get it. People will be like, that's how it is. And I'm just like, it's a joke, you guys. Like, hold up.
and sarcasm too. I feel like back in the day, everyone understood a sarcastic tweet.
Yeah.
Now it's like without fail, someone will take it seriously and think it's like straight. And I'm like, no, I mean, what's wrong? No. It's strange, but we adapt with the new Twitter.
We have tons of things to talk about, and you picked the perfect movie for your comeback too, right?
Oh God. Yes, I have.
So I was telling
Itna
Shakeela,
pyar, itna mohabbat.
yeah. इतनी मोहब्बत कर ना सकूंगा.
Oh God. Here we go.
So when we were talking, when me and Shakeela were talking, I was like, you're coming in after Sucharita. You have to bring it. And Shakeela
She did bring it.
She did bring it. She did say, which movie will annoy Amrita the most? And I was like,
and then she found it.
Did she found it?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, why did you choose this film? That's the only answer I can give you that is not going to embarrass me. Is that I just wanted to find something that would be torturous.
Yeah. You just forgot one little detail, which is that you'll also have to watch it. So I am fine with it.
Exactly. Oh,
So, yeah.
that was a slog, you guys. Having to get to it.
So yeah, just to
I
kind
tried
of
to
say,
find a way to make it as enjoyable as possible, and I just couldn't find any way to make love enjoyable to watch. It just became like a monster, like every passing minute, like what the hell is this movie?
Yes.
Dear.
So yeah, our main review is going to be Love, by the way, for those that don't know, still haven't figured it out. So yeah, but that's going to get later. But we have tons and tons of things to talk about. So let's get going with that. We saw a lot of things this week, except Amrita, who didn't watch anything, but we're used to that. And I think I do have to mention something up front, because I think this is just like ethics. Remember people had ethics? We still have them. We got a press pass from Z5 to check out their new Z5 interface in the UK that they've kind of launched, and their new shows. And Amrita, I didn't actually even mention this to you because it wasn't available in India, and I knew you were not going to use it anyway. So
Exactly.
yeah, I know you. So me and Sujoy both got a pass for 3 months to kind of check it out, and also to review Churails, which is their main kind of show that they come out with. So we didn't get paid. We just got like a 3-month subscription to check it out. But I feel I should tell people this before, they say, we're biased reviewers or anything like that, which we totally are. Everybody's biased. And by the way, second point, if you want to send us free shit, send us free shit. We're totally ready to cash out and sell out. I mean, full on Randi Bazi, I'm up for it. Right. So yeah, so we wanted to I just wanted to preface that, and then let's get into the stuff we watched. I got the Z app, and I am very picky with apps, just generally streaming apps. I feel they all annoy me within 30 seconds of using the app. And Z5 is exactly the same thing. It's so buggy. It's such a buggy interface with so many different playlists, and I can't find anything. I don't know. Sujoy, was that also your experience, or just mine that I was just getting annoyed with it?
I mean, I think the gold standard by now is the Netflix interface, because it just works and very intuitive, even though you can't really find the content that you want, but most of it that Netflix wants you to watch is already out there. But they've tried to ape that, but in a way it's so weirdly categorized, and it's not very, I have to scroll all the way up just to search stuff. Yeah. Even after search, you have to go whether your keyword is a movie or a TV show. It's just weird how it has been positioned. And also it doesn't work at times at all. The TV app just crashes and movies just don't play at all. after, like, I can't do anything if the movie crashes. I've tried logging out, and I've tried deleting the app, reinstalling it, doesn't work. On the web, I go and watch it on PC, the movie crashes there as well, which is like, it just don't give a fuck about movies anymore. But I'm just very, very impressed by the library that it has. Like, all the movies that we grew up with, the 80s, 90s, all the movies that we watched in VHS and stuff, it's got everything in good prints. But again,
does it have subtitles?
It does.
That's a problem. I don't know if most have subtitles.
It does. They do.
Like even it does.
Yeah, they do. Mostly because I usually watch things with subtitles on.
Okay.
And most
Churails didn't.
No, the first episode didn't, and then either they backdated and uploaded it, or after the second episode, it had it. So I'll actually check now, because my wife is going to watch the first episode, and I told her then that there's no subtitles, so she can't watch it. But then the second one, they jumped in, so she just kind of jumped in from episode 2, but she loved it so much she wanted to go back and watch episode 1, which now that we're talking about it, I remember that there are no subtitles. But the library is amazing, and you if the app did work, that I would definitely like at least get it for like 6 months at a stretch, or subscribe it for a month when I want to watch like go back and watch movies from the 90s that we love. But one funny thing, though, that they include skip intro in movies as well. So you're watching Love, and the first censor board screen comes up, and you can just skip intro and straight move into the movie, which is weird, that I've never found in any other streaming platform. So a lot of movies that I wanted to watch, like Mr. India, Ram Lakhan, they all bugged. They didn't work at all. And like remember like a couple of episodes ago, I was talking about Insaf, this movie that I really wanted to watch with Noor Khanna. It was on there, so I was like, I'll watch this, and then it didn't work. And then, but it's also against with rights and stuff like that. You want to watch certain movies. Like I was like, I wanted to watch Bombay Velvet, and it wasn't available on there. So it's always like pick and match, and you get lucky with the collection that they have and you don't have. But it is vast. Like it is a vast collection that they have in good print. So I think it is kind of cool to watch. And I was like just watching a few of the movies. So the 2 movies that I watched was Commando 3. I watched with Vidyut Jammwal. Because I like Vidyut Jammwal. I like him more than Tiger Shroff. And, there was a lot of buzz with his new one, Khuda Hafiz, coming out. But that's coming out on Disney Hot something. So it wasn't on there. So I just wanted to watch Commando 3. And then I watched this movie. Like, remember we talked about this article a few months ago about single screen versus multiplex? Remember that? Like how...
Yeah.
And
I think that was like a couple of weeks ago, actually, but it might as well have been like last year.
Gun to my head, if you asked me, I would not know which year it was that we talked about it, because time has no meaning. But there was this, they did mention a movie that it just kind of stuck in my head, and also because you spoke about his most recent movies, Allu Arjun, is that how you pronounce it? I still don't know. Yeah. And he has this movie that was mentioned in that article, and I'm going to try to pronounce it, but you know how this usually goes, right? So it was Na Peru Surya Na Illu India. Yeah, so close enough. As close as Asim can get to this. And so I watched this, and then I also watched Gunjan Saxena on Netflix. And I think I've watched so many Muslim people get beaten up and killed on screen that mera quota pura ho gaya. Like, I'm done. Like, it's... like, it's just like... so much on every different level. And, like... Now, Peru Surya is the worst one out of it, obviously because it's the kind of genre cinema it is, but there's this constant streak of Muslims need to get shot to show their patriotism. Like at the end of this movie, it's like 20 minutes is like, there's going to be like this, there's like this terrorist attack happening by some nefarious Muslims somewhere, and they're going to attack a lot of different cities, and the way to stop the attack is that all Muslims have to have a human barrier in front of it, and they're just like shooting down Muslims. Muslims are shooting down Muslims, and at the end it's like, yeah, these Muslims are good Muslims. And it was funny because both in Commando 3 both in Commando 3 and in Naperu Surya, it was the main actor, the main hero, does a viral video that the whole of India watches. And it was just insane to watch back to back both. Like, how easy is it to get viral in India, man? We've been trying to go viral since we started this podcast. It's not happening. Like, it's not easy. Like, it's insane. But yeah. It was just I'd never seen an Allu Arjun movie, and I was like, wow, I really get that this is the same industry that brought Kabir Singh, because it has so much of this justified angry man, like beating up everybody because he's just right, which links up with Love later on, which we're going to be talking about. But yeah, so those are a few of the things that I watched. Sujoy, did you watch anything cool on Z5?
So I went back and watched Hum Kisi Se Kam Nahi and Yadon Ki Barat, as I promised. Because it's just comfort, right? You just put it on, you just zone out. And
this entire conversation is so on brand for both Asim and Sujoy. Of course, Asim saw these movies, and of course, Sujoy saw those movies. Like, what else would they watch?
Like, I didn't watch them actively. It was just on the TV, and like, I'm totally vegging out and like drinking wine and stuff. You know? Because I'm posh like that. But yeah, I mean, I watched those two movies and Churails that we'll talk about, and I think I watched a bit of Ram Lakhan as well. Like I saw Rakhi on the near the train track and seeing her husband getting. Anyway, run over.
No spoilers. Hashtag no spoilers for Ram Lakhan. Oh god, what did you think of Churails though?
Oh,
okay. Before you guys start with Churails, I just want to say that so I haven't watched Churails. Obviously, I haven't watched anything. I barely watched Love, but I was on YouTube and the ad came on for Churails on some video. And usually, you know, you just wait for the 5 seconds and then you press, you know, escape and then you skip ads and then you go and watch whatever it was that you want to watch. But I will say that I saw that entire ad. Like, I didn't know what was going on. And then it immediately grabbed my interest and I spent like the entire, like 30 seconds or whatever it took to watch the entire trailer. Mm-hmm. And if it wasn't playing on Z5, like if it was playing on like something that I had a subscription to, then I would totally have watched it.
And
yeah, same here.
Let's also keep it spoiler free, Sujoy, like while talking about it, because I don't want. I genuinely feel both for you guys and also everybody listening. Like go in, like don't seek out spoilers. I think it's such a cool journey. I personally don't want to spoil it, and I think if I really want to talk with spoilers about this show, and maybe we can do a separate podcast about that. But
okay.
Yeah. Let's do it this way. I think it would make more sense. Shakeela, what did you think of the trailer, by the way?
I was blown away. Like, I love the visuals of the trailer. That one shot of, like, in the colorful hijabs with, like, the buttons and, like, it's so powerful. And I just love that stuff like this is coming out of Pakistan. Like, they just have superior content, like, honestly, but they don't have the visibility and the platform, you know? And I so wish this was on Netflix or something bigger. And like, why is Z commissioning Pakistani content? You know, like, I asked this on Twitter as well. Like, and nobody has an issue with it, you know, like, not that they should. Like, I'm all for, like, the Aman Ki Asha cross-border, ideally, but this is obviously not the political climate. And yet, I just wish Asim Abbasi had the bigger global platform. But yeah, the trailer itself just absolutely amazing. It's right up my alley. Secret society, badass bitches, you know, like it's
So I do want to point out that, you know, even though Z is a disgusting right-wing hate channel, that's their news division. the Z Entertainment Channel has actually been historically very into Pakistani content. And they were the ones who initially brought like Humsafar and Zindagi Gulzar Hai and like a whole bunch of other Pakistani dramas, like recent Pakistani dramas, to the Indian screens. And that's where a lot of these Indian aunties saw Fawad Khan for the first time and lost their goddamn panties. And they were, I don't know how they skate through the entire like anti-Pakistan, anti-Muslim sentiment. Because I think they do it because the owner is so obviously right-wing and he supports Modi so much. So like the IT cell doesn't go after him because he's a big donor to the BJP and to Modi, and their, political campaigns and stuff. So I think that's how they play the two sides.
So also on the Z interface, there is no... so you can choose your language. You can choose Telugu, Hindi, Marathi and all that. But there's no section for Urdu. No. And there's also no section for Pakistani dramas. So because I've watched Churails, now you have Bin Roy and all, like Baghi and all these other ones that you might be interested in. But there's no mention of Pakistan or anything. They'll just put Urdu serial. That's the only thing that they'll put in, which is hilarious to me.
Asman se tapka hua serial.
Yeah. See, this is my issue. So, yeah. But, someday, I'm sure.
Also, I like to mention our good friend Harun Rashid has done an amazing interview with the main actress, Sarwat Gilani, I think her name is, and director Asim Abbasi. About Churails, and it's quite illuminating and very interesting. And Asim Abbasi specifically talks about why he chose Z5. So I'll link it in the show notes. People can check it out, and it's quite a really good conversation. And I mean, Harun is a friend of the show anyway, so I think everybody should check that out. But yeah, I would say too many notes in my head. Sujoy, man, what did you think of Churails?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit difficult without going into spoiler territory, but Churails is a very expertly made and brilliantly executed TV series that we have not seen from like the subcontinent. Considering all things that have come out of India, it's so fresh to see content like this. It's like I haven't watched much Pakistani content over the last couple of years. I have not watched any of the TV soaps and series that inclined towards romantic dramas and Saas Bahu and all of that. And what I do here is it's far superior than the daily soaps that India produces, churns out like machines. But it's great to see a web series which is a contained 10-episode story arc that explores these wild, weird ideas and also reflects upon the darker realities of the societies we live in. And I am a big fan of what Asim Abbasi did with Cake, and in this he just has more of a freedom to explore the stories of so many subplots, and they all come together beautifully. It's technically wonderful. It's a revelation to watch the story unfurl. Like, one moment you think that something's going to happen and just pulls the rug under your feet, and it just explores all these different themes that the world of Churails exists in. It's brilliant and a highly recommended TV for all those who are still on the edge of whether they want to watch it or not. But obviously, the themes that it tries to discuss will also bring a lot of controversy, and people would disagree with a lot of things that it's trying to say. But I guess that's what compelling TV often does.
I like you guys, I don't watch much Pakistani anything, honestly. I don't watch movies and I don't watch the dramas. Although I get so many recommendations from my family, from people I follow on Twitter. Even Harun has recommended me quite a few times to, watch a serial, a TV serial that's been good. But to be honest, it's... it doesn't appeal to me because it very much caters like Indian dramas to like a middle class, and it's not something I connect with. It's not something that I'm really that interested in. But when I interviewed Asim Abbasi for Cake back in 2018, he said something like it really stuck in my mind. He said, making Bollywood replicas won't get us anywhere. And I knew this guy, he's like almost like a enfant terrible. He wants to like kick the bucket. He wants to make changes. And I think Cake already showed that, but even Cake was restrained by, budget, by the moral code of Pakistan, of the audience. And he tried to push as much as he could, but working with Z5 and this kind of bigger platform, bigger budget, he can do so much more. And I think a lot of times Churails feels it's packing so much because he's talking about so many ills in society, so many isms, He's talking about colorism, about bigotry, misogyny, patriarchy, mistreatment of transgenders, homosexual rights, classism. There's so many things going on, and you're trying to do this in 10 episodes. But the thing is with Churails, it works, and that is like how did he pull that off? That is just so amazing, and he creates such a lush world, and I think even in Cake that was very clear that every shot almost feels like Sanjay Leela Bansali, like it's so meticulously planned and set design and written and created, like because there's an aspect of racism in Pakistani society, even towards black people. There's a poster which is kind of it's kind of a reveal, but it's a poster of Sarche Bartman, and I don't know if people know who that person was, but it was a South African black woman that got paraded through Europe and kind of like showed as a how do you, like an animal in a zoo almost,
like an exhibit.
Yeah, like a terribly
exhibit.
Terribly treated, poked and prodded and presented naked, and she had like very pronounced buttocks and like a different shape. And there's a poster in the back of one of the offices, and if you know that reference and you know what he's like, wow, this is like 100 levels above anything that even like Bollywood cinema or Hindi cinema or Pakistani dramas can do in that commercial space. And I thought that I was just applauding it. And he also manages to create a world that I don't know. I don't know this world. I'm a Pakistani. I go to Pakistan. I don't live there. But this high class people that are, they're drinking alcohol and they're on drugs and they're super, super duper rich and just bored out of their wits. It's a world that I don't know. And it almost feels like Karan Johar-ish in a way, but in Pakistan. And it was quite interesting to see that. And I also love...
It's almost like an amalgamation of, what we have seen in India, Indian TV series like, Made in Heaven or Four More Shots.
Yeah.
That, but also it easily transitions into like the class divide and also the way these characters come together, even though their universes and the world they live in are completely different, and the contrast between them, but yet the similarities in how the problems they face with each other. It's beautiful.
And it also has a real love for Bollywood movies. Like, there's lines in it, there are references in it. There's amazing cameo that I don't want to spoil, but I cheered when I saw the cameo because I love this person so much. And then,
there's lots of Bollywood music as well that they have used in this.
Yeah, which again, a benefit of being on Z, that they probably have the rights and you can then incorporate it. I love the little thing that they had, like one of the character is going underground and her alias is Alia Butt, but B-U-T-T. I thought that was like so cool. The only criticism it's not an really criticism, it's just that it reminded me of Orange is the New Black in that way, where Orange is the New Black, the main central character is kind of the most annoying and also the most boring character. And the side characters, the supporting characters are much more interesting and their arc is more interesting. But I feel here there's a bit too much focus and that character kind of gets into gear much later in the series, and I felt that could have been maybe shortened or make me like that person more. But it's a minor niggle. I mean, this show is so good, Amrita. I think, like, honest to God, I think you should get a subscription just to watch this. This is how good it is.
Okay.
Yeah, like
yeah. I'm in India. I'll probably get it. Like, they'll probably pay me to get a subscription, so I should probably get it.
You can probably get it free for like a packet of Parle-G cookies or something like that, right? Like
100 points to Asim for mentioning the brand Parle-G.
I'm trying to sell out more,
Sponsor us.
Yeah, next episode is brought to you by Parle-G biscuits. Yeah, so no, honestly, get it. Like, even if you watch it for a week, like for a season of Westworld or something like that, you would pay £20 on iTunes or something like that to watch it or have it, right? I think this is that good. It's like it blows away everything else. Like, there's nothing like it. Not in Pakistan, but like all of in South Asia. Like, it's better than Made in Heaven. It's better than Sacred Games. It's better than Patal Lok, And I've loved a lot of these shows. This is like head and shoulders above everything else. That's how good it is.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we all love a heist movie, and it begins like that with these four women coming together over charas and thinking of a startup idea, and it just takes off from there. So that's your plug. Watch Churails.
It's like a whodunit. It's a thriller. It's like it has usual suspects in it. It has Eyes Wide Shut references in it. It's insane. Like,
it's like a Stieg Larsson novel.
It's so much. It's so much. It's so much. It's so much, but it's not too much. And that's the balance that Asim Abbasi strikes. And I think the main reason is because he's called Asim, and Asims are pretty cool.
I was waiting for him to go there.
So I think that's the segment of the show brought to you by Z5. Shall we move on to the segment not brought by Netflix? Because I really want to know how Bobby Deol is doing. Shakeela, how is Class of '83?
How are we, Boobians?
Lord Bobby is doing the most. I have no idea why. Like, this is what I want to know. Who thought it was a good idea to cast him? Because,
Shah Rukh.
I mean, I've read... Yeah, exactly. I've read like a whole bunch... Not a whole bunch. I've read a couple of interviews where it's like, only Bobby.
Jhoot mat bolo. How much have you read?
No, seriously. Like 2 or 3, just to like understand, because literally I saw it, I liked it mostly only because I thought it would offend me a lot more than it did in terms of the cop vigilante cop situation.
Propaganda.
So it wasn't propaganda. Like, for the most part, it wasn't propaganda. It was more self-aware than like the Rohit Shetty films. But I felt like Bobby was miscast. Like, he is as wooden as he ever has been. Nothing has improved. Nothing has changed in my opinion. So like all the gushing over him and like he's a lot of fun in pop culture. Like that video that Netflix came out with, that I think Amrita shared. Did you guys see it? The rap by some.
Oh, the
someone.
Tarpatri talkies?
Yeah. Like, I thought that was funny. And like I said, like, the Bobbians, whoever they are, God bless their hearts,
I'm sorry, that would be Boobians, not the Bobbians.
Yes, the Boobians and Lord Bobby and their, mission to make Bichu 10 on 10 at IMDb. God bless their hearts. That's a lot of fun, but in terms of like, if you really are still talking about him as an actor, it's the same problem that he's always had. Like, there's just no emotion. Everyone's like, oh, he's so stoic and like, so, gets the tonality of the character. It's like, no, that's just Bobby. No matter what he's doing, it's the one expression he has. So that's the deal with Bobby. Did you guys see the other trailer that came out, the Ashram one? It's on MX Player or something, coming out soon.
What is that, Ashram? What is that, a movie or show? What is this?
It's I'm not even sure. I think it's a movie, and he's playing like some corrupt guru or something on at this ashram. So you see, like, why would you cast him for that role? I'm just very intrigued by this resurgence. So
which role would you cast him in, though, Shakeela?
Exactly, none. I mean, as an actor, he can't even do comedy. Like, what can he do? I can't think of anything.
What can he do?
Other than be like a fun pop culture reference at this point,
Yeah.
Wasn't
he's a meme.
DJ at some point? Like, he was DJing parties and stuff, right?
Yes, he can be a DJ. Like,
was that real, or was that like a joke? Like, did that really happen, or was that a joke? That really happened?
It was a real thing. My brother met him in Singapore. Like, they just ran into him on the street, and my brother was like, "What are you doing here, man?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm like doing the DJ at like blah blah blah." And my brother was like, my brother actually took a photo and sent it to me and was like, "Hey, you're into Bollywood, right? Like, look who I saw." And I was like,
Did he have his shirt? Did he have his shirt on, Amrita, in that picture?
Yes, but like the 3 buttons were undone.
Ooh, 90s style. Oh God. So it's a miss. Class of 83 is a miss then.
I wouldn't say it's a miss. Like, if you're really a film person, I would recommend watching it. Because I want to say something about Atul Sabharwal. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he does something interesting with like these tropey films. Like, even with Aurangzeb, it was like the 70s masala.
I love Aurangzeb.
Yeah. So, it's like he takes those tropes and he tones it down. He takes out some of the masala and he makes these like uncommon choices about where to take out the drama and where to put it in. And it's the same thing with this. Like, so this is like any 80s corrupt cop film that you can think of. Like, all those Sunny Deol, like all those types of films. Not the very good ones with like a rapey politician and this beleaguered cop, good cop. Like that genre, he takes that and like, again, turns it on its head and tones down the melodrama. It gave me a little bit of like Parinda vibes a little bit, which I just find it interesting, like to see that style, but it can be boring. It can be, and a lot of people have complained that it's like, where is the story? It's so boring. But it's interesting to me just to see something that's where the tropes are all so familiar, but they're handled in a very unpredictable manner. So, yeah.
When you're talking about it, it almost reminds me of that Arshad Warsi movie, Seher. Remember that one? Did you ever watch it?
Yeah. With Mahima Chaudhary.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, no.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, and I kind of like that vibe. Like, I think I'll probably watch Class of 83. I'll report back in on the next show or the one after what I found it. I find it intriguing, this Boobianisance that we have going on. By the way, Ashram is directed by Prakash Jha. So
right.
It might have some surprises there.
Yeah.
Sujoy, you didn't watch it, right?
No.
Okay. You were busy with Yadon Ki Barat. Amrita, any interest since you have a selfie with him? Are you gonna watch?
Oh, not at all.
Oh, good. What else? Shall we move on? Let's do the trailers quickly.
No, Gunjan Saxena.
Oh, Gunjan Saxena. I don't know. Do we want to?
I watched that.
Yeah, you watched it? Go ahead.
Again, okay, so I thought it was a nice film. It's nice. I don't think it's super duper amazing, like, oh my god. But it is very emotional. I have to say, there's something about it. It pushes those emotional buttons. I think it would have been a nice watch on the big screen. And again, it's nice in the sense of like, it's not, as many people have said, it's a non-jingoistic, it's not, I don't even know if I'd call it a patriotic film, but it's non-jingoistic, and that's really hard to do when you're dealing with the Kargil War. So I thought that was like just a nice change of pace, given again the climate we're in right now. And also, Janvi was pretty good in it. I find her exciting as like in terms of all of the new, debutantes. I find her to be the most interesting. Like she's still raw. There's no doubt about it. But I feel like, in a few years.
Shakeela, you're a hashtag team nepotism now.
I'm full team nepotism, man. Like where would I be without all the star kids? I don't even know. What would I do? But yeah, it's a nice watch. I would recommend it. It's yeah.
Yeah. I watched like 60% of Gunjan Saxena. I was kind of cooking and like walking back and forth, and I really, really liked what I watched. I was trying to watch the rest before we started recording, but Churails just took all of my time, and I have no regrets. But I really, and like you, Shakeela, I'm totally on board. Hashtag what is this Janvi fan group? Like, I would join it, but I feel I'm too old. It's creepy for me to join any groups like that. But I support the young lady from a distance
in a very Pankaj Tripathi way.
Exactly. I wish her all the success in the world, and I think she has the goods. She's a star more than anything. Talking acting ability and all of that is out of the water. We just saw Love. Like, there's no acting in those movies. Like, there's no acting. Yeah. Like, and honestly, sometimes I don't want acting. I want stars. And like, there's a lack of stars, and she is a star. Like, she delivers. The emotions are there. And also, like, I'm happy for Dharma this is Dharma produced, right? It's not?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for Dharma to get a win. Karan Johar has been battered and bruised, and online, and Drive was a massive failure. And I think this is it was a really good movie. And talking about the jingoistic aspects, like, Muslims get killed, but they don't get a name and you don't see their face. So I guess that's good enough, like, if we're talking about, there's no, itna to chalta hai, like, we're talking about the war at the end, itna to bardash karna padega, so.
Yeah, because those were the only Muslims, though, right? Like the Pakistanis, essentially, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't like a main character. Yeah, that's like unavoidable. It's the Kargil War, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And at least they didn't force in like this super patriotic Muslim in the army and all that kind of shit, that they sometimes can do, which then just annoys you even more. And
exactly,
it deals with sexism in the army, which like if you look at the stats of assaults of women officers in the army globally, it's horrifying. Like full-on rapes and assaults. So what they show in this is just like halka pulka, honestly. And I think like
it's barely anything. It's barely anything. I thought they dealt with it so nicely, because the stuff they showed is stuff that any woman anywhere in the world like has experienced that. Yeah. It's not just in the army, or the Air Force.
Which is why I think I found it really weird, like all the controversy that we had online, where people were just like, oh, I can't believe like they would slander the IAF that way. And I'm just like, but that's what she said she experienced. And are you really telling me that the first batch of female officers to go up wouldn't face that kind of discrimination? And, I know people in the armed forces, and what they've shown here is like very tame compared to like some of the stories that I've heard. And like Asim said, like globally speaking, like women have it really tough in the military, whether it's in India or the United States or anywhere. So I don't really get it.
I think women probably get more harassment going to buy alus than you actually see in Gunjan Saxena.
Exactly.
You could probably have more of that just crossing the street than what Gunjan is showing. So, and honestly, it's a movie I would watch with my daughter. I think it's quite inspiring, and it's well shot, and it's a kind of a capable, cool story. I'm totally on board for it.
It's also weird to me, and it's not actually weird to me. I know exactly why they bring it up, because they're trying to bat down Karan Johar somehow or the other. Like, that was the entire Twitter controversy about it. It had nothing to do with the sexism, which is like Shakeela said, like any woman in the world would immediately be like, obviously, like that's what she faced. The whole thing was another campaign against Karan Johar and Dharma Productions, basically. And what was really weird to me was that maybe last year or maybe a year before, Nim Kaur, like the woman from the Lunchbox, she made this web series, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was for Ekta Kapoor's streaming service. And in it, she plays this commissioned officer in the army who makes it to some sort of elite squad, and she's like the first woman officer inducted in it. And then she is assaulted by her fellow officers, and then the entire series is about her trying to not just get justice, but also like teach her peers a lesson, and also try to like not screw things up for other women who might be coming up the ranks. And it was a very layered performance. It was like pretty dark. I saw like the first couple of episodes. I didn't see the whole thing, but it went completely under the radar. And I don't remember anybody making a big song and dance about how the armed forces were being slandered and so on and so forth when that came out. So, it's just more...
Yeah, it was completely ridiculous. Like, whatever they showed was barely anything. I'm sure much, much, much worse happened, especially back then. It's so annoying when these conversations become so muddled like this, because like nobody, like you can't tell who is actually trying to have a genuine discussion about the film, and the people who, because it's not just obvious trolling. Like, there's also people who pretend to sound very intelligent, like they're making like this really intelligent point, when it's still trolling.
Yeah. Are you targeting me? Shakeela, are you targeting me now?
No.
I feel attacked.
I would never do that.
I feel attacked.
Our trolling is like good-natured trolling. This is like basically everything. At the end of everything is Karan Johar is
anti-national, pretty much.
Yeah, Karan Johar killed SSR, basically, is the point they're trying to make.
And his movies are hyper-nationalistic. Sorry. Karan Johar's movies are hyper-nationalistic. We've discussed this a few times on the show already.
Yeah. He used to be the poster boy of jingoism. Yeah.
Yeah, I am living for, it's very, I feel like I need to point out that it's terrible that he's being targeted and all of that. But I am also living for the fact that people like Ekta Kapoor and Karan Johar and all these people and Akshay Kumar, like people who made like the most jingoistic movies over the past 10 years are getting their asses handed to them on Twitter by the very people for whom they make these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what happens when you Astin Ka Samp, etc. This is what happens.
The Nimrit Kaur show that you were talking about was called The Test Case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and it's on Z5.
Right.
Is it?
It's on Z5 now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because Z5 and Alt Balaji have kind of joined hands.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes
Amrita
sense.
has to get that subscription.
Yeah, no. Go get a Parle G packet. You'll probably get it. Shall we go over the Sadak 2 trailer? Were there any other trailers that came out, or was Sadak 2 the only one?
I think that's the only one worthy of discussion, I guess.
Yeah.
Amrita, what did you think of the Sadak 2 trailer? Did you watch it?
I laughed so hard. It was everybody was talking about what a disaster it was and everything, but I don't trust anyone on Twitter these days because everyone is biased and people are just, taking out their khunnas on everything left, right and center. So I was like, how bad can it be? And then I saw it and look, first of all, one of the starring roles in the film goes to Pooja Bhatt's giant photograph. Like, what is happening?
What does Mahesh Bhatt have against his own daughter?
No. I think he literally wanted her to act and she was just like, like, I'm not coming in front of the camera again. Like, Pooja Bhatt is, like, she's a true original, she's one of those few, 90s people that I truly respect because she was like, this is my life, this is how I'm gonna live it. And she's done with that bullshit. Like, she doesn't need any of that. But they needed to write her in somehow, and the way they've done it
she did.
Have Sanjay Dutt just speak to her photograph all the time, and I'm just screaming with laughter every single time. I mean, I can't.
In Om Shanti Om, when Om Makhija's father appears on the picture, and that's the only appearance he gets. That's Pooja Bhatt in Sadak 2.
It did make me realize, with the pandemic going on and stuff like that, I was like, maybe I should take also a picture of myself, like a marne wali picture, Like, I feel like maybe we should all have one,
Jesus.
a good one, like that we can then blow up. Like, do know what's going to happen soon. I think we should take care of that.
Just like Amir Khan gets posted in the police station. Idhar udhar nahi, udhar idhar dekhiye.
Yeah.
But also, it was it's so sad, to watch it because this is the kind of film that Sanjay Dutt can just, he's sleepwalking through the entire thing, but he's still knocking it out of the park because he's Sanju Baba. But Alia and Aditya are in that scenes where they're in the same car, where, he's driving up front and the two of them are in the back. It's literally like in the front, there is one kind of movie and in the back, there is another kind of movie.
Yeah.
I'm just what is happening?
So I'm looking at the Wikipedia page and I'm fascinated by some things. It is the second most disliked video on YouTube due to vote brigading, and it's coming out next week. I didn't realize it was getting released so soon.
Where is it being released?
Disney Hotstar.
Oh.
So it doesn't matter. And none of that actually matters because the movie is sold. Disney needs content. They've paid Mahesh to come out of retirement, and 20% of the budget went to that photo shoot of Pooja Bhatt's Marne Wali tasveer. So I think it doesn't matter. Like, people are going to watch it. They're all a bunch of liars anyway. Anybody that has Disney Hotstar will watch that movie, so... All of this is absurd. Like, it's an absurd situation. It's an absurd conversation. Like, it's,
What I'm definitely looking forward to is the soundtrack, though.
Yes.
Because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 music directors on the soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like proper 90s filmmaking.
Yeah.
Definitely living
Hey,
for it.
90s mein, they always had one music director, no, per album.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's
Yeah, this is proper corrupt mafia filmmaking or music making anyway.
Yeah.
And the
series.
And the first song is already quite good. Like the one that came out. I don't know what it's called anymore. But
Ishq Kamal.
Yeah, that's the one. I thought that was quite already a nice song. Like, I mean, our bar is low, right? We're living through the era of Badshah and Tanish Bagchi, you know. Our bar is low, and I was expecting, and the Butts always bring it musically, and I think it's going to be a nice little soundtrack that they got going on, you know. Like, so the one thing that I was also like in the trailer while watching it, you know, like it's cinematically, there's such a shift between what a movie looked like when Sadak came out and what Sadak 2 is trying to do. When they show those flashbacks, you know, in the song, it's like, wow, like what, you know, I don't feel you can really mesh those two things together. I am excited for Alia Bhatt to bring up Aditya Roy Kapoor's lack of talent, because they kind of look good together, I felt. But yeah, the movie looks... Shakeela, what did you think of the trailer?
I'm living for that Makrant Deshpande. Like, I want to know about that guru, that Swami person. I'm like all about the villain, right? So, judging by what the first set of how they presented the villain, which is problematic in many ways. This one, it's the same treatment though. It's like that over the top, totally loud, campy villain. I love that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward. Well, actually, I'm not even going to be able to see the film, but that's what I would look forward to if I had a Disney Hotstar subscription. Everything else to me seemed very mediocre. I felt like Alia was like out of like not her usual best self. I felt like her performance from what we saw here was very I don't know, something was off about it. Like that subdued.
You know what it was? Huh? You know what it was like when you know you're getting your driving license, and then your dad says, no, I'll teach you. That's the face Alia Bhatt is making in this movie.
Yes. It's like you can probably feel her discomfort at being directed by her dad and like having her family around. Like that's precisely what it is.
It's the face she was making on that stage show when Mahesh Bhatt started screaming at the press, and she's like, "No, Papa, no, Papa."
Exactly.
Oh God.
Am I correct in saying this is the only like Vishesh films which is actually a sequel rather than like a Raz 2 or a Hate Story 2 or a Jism 2 which is totally not, or a Murder 2 which is not connected to the first movie at all? This is actually a sequel that's continuing the story.
Like a proper sequel. Yeah. Might
probably be. Not that, I mean, who has ever seen all of the 1, 2, 3, 4s of like films, you know?
We can't verify what those movies are.
Asim. Have you seen Raz 5?
No, I don't like. I have not watched any of those, to be honest. I was gonna blame shift it to Sujoy. He might have watched it, but I.
No, I only watched the ABCD dance movies.
I can't.
I only watched the Remo D'Souza fucking dance movies. I don't contribute to the Bipasha verse.
Oh my God.
The Bipasha verse. Yeah. I wish there was a Bipasha verse, to be honest.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chalo pyar karte hain. Let's move on to love.
Let's move on to love. Love.
So much love.
So,
Shakeela, why did you do this to us?
I honestly have I don't know why. Like, okay, so it started off, I wanted for sure to do like an early Khan's movie. Like the early 90s Khan's like my favorite. I mean, I feel like Love was just in my head is like a movie that doesn't get talked about much. At least that's the impression I have.
For good reason.
Now we found out why.
Now we know why. But back in the day, I swear, like when it first came out, it had this reputation, I think. I might be making all of this up. I don't know. It had this reputation of being like a more serious, kind of dark film in comparison to like the other love stories that Salman was doing. Possibly. And I think like if you compare it to the other like films that came out in like 1991 after Maine Pyar Kiya, this is more of a darker character. Like they tried to make it a darker character, you know, like with the anger management and this and that. And so it stuck in my head, like back then when I was like a preteen, it seemed like a very serious situation. So that's why I wanted to revisit it, to see if it was actually any good. And turns out it wasn't.
On the IMDb page, when you can see like more like this, for love, you have similarly under 5.5, 5.6 stars rating. You have Baghi, you have Sanam Bewafa, you have Patthar Ke Phool, Ek Ladka Ek Ladki, Veer Gati. Dear, how many has he done? Tumko na bhool payenge, Dil ne jise apna kaha, Bandhan Dulhan hum le jayenge, and Jab Pyar Kisi Se Hota Hai. All of them under 5.6, 5.7.
Yeah.
And you chose Love for Us.
Yeah.
I have to say...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that I know it's going to be a special movie when it starts with Salman holding a guitar for no good reason and like walking through like ye haseen wadiyan and like ye jharne, ye ped, and then suddenly like, you know, the titles get over and then it's like a close-up of some kid's crotch.
Oh dear.
And he's play acting as like Imran Khan out of nowhere.
Yeah, like just the mention of Imran Khan in a Hindi movie, I was like, what era are we in, you know?
Wankhede Stadium said the kids dubbing, oh my god.
Oh god.
And he asked the other kid, Lala ji, aapko kya lagta hai? And he's like, bakwas hai.
And then like he goes to get the cricket ball and then it just goes from like 0 to 60 in like seconds flat.
Things escalate really quickly in this movie. But let's bring it back for a second. Let's bring it back because we're going to be shitting on this for like I don't think a lot of people know about this movie and a lot of people have not watched this movie. So I just want to kind of like, you know, set the baseline here where we're at. You know, so
I want to congratulate all these people for not knowing anything about this movie or like thinking about this movie or watching this movie. Good for you.
So this came out in 1991, which was kind of like the second year of Salman being a hero, right? So in 91, he brought out Sanam Bewafa, Patthar Ke Phool, Qurban, Sajan and Love. And this also starred Revathi. I'm pronouncing it correctly now. See how much progress I'm doing. And it was a remake, which I did not know until 48 hours ago, of a movie called Prema, which starred Venkatesh and also Revathi, also directed by the same director whose name is Suresh Krishnan.
Krishna.
Is that the...
Suresh Krishna.
Suresh Krishna.
Yeah, and the original music is by Ilayaraja, and the Hindi soundtrack is by Anand Milan, and all of the songs except one song are note for note copied. So why is Anand Milan's name on this soundtrack? So, I mean, the story is quite basic. Is, you know, Prithvi, from IMDb, Prithvi and Maggie fall in love and decide to get married, but Maggie's mother objects looking at Prithvi's past because Prithvi... I can't... I was trying to keep serious. Oh God, yeah.
आगे तो बोलो.
Oh God,
Say it.
I need a minute. So yeah, Prithvi has a lot of anger issues, and basically 60% of this movie is Salman is gonna punch auntie. That's like the only thing.
And somebody's gonna come out of nowhere. Somebody's gonna come out of somewhere and say "Khuni baap Vaishyama."
Yeah. So, yeah, and Salman was going to either punch auntie, he was going to kidnap auntie, and 1 minute he thought he was fearing that he might rape auntie. So I was like really scared in this movie a few times.
He just leaves him in Borivali jungle.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a flashback to a totally, totally different era, this movie. And I think it also reminded me of our chat with, when we were doing a duplicate with Beth, top friend Beth, that if you've not watched this movie then, there is no reason for you to rewatch this movie now. But people that have watched it then, like, that's the kind of the first question I want to ask all of you guys. Why have we all watched this movie? Like, why? I've watched it numerous times, this movie. Like, when it came out, I had it and I watched it tons of times. And now I wonder why. And I'm sure you guys have watched it a few times too, right?
I mean, we didn't really have any access or control over content that was playing, right? If it was there, we were there in front of the TV watching it. However inappropriate it was for our age,
Yeah. And this movie is super inappropriate, but like, I didn't even remember how inappropriate it was until I saw it. And I was like, I was a child, a masoom bacha. Like, why was I watching this?
Yeah.
Insanity.
Well, I had to make more effort because I had to actually go and get the VHS cassette because I was in Bangkok, right? So stuff wasn't like just playing on the TV. I had to actually go and rent it. I think I only watched it once, though, to be honest. I listened to the cassette tape like endlessly. Even though the lyrics, I'm just like, what the heck? But the music is beautiful,
No, the soundtrack is the best part of this movie, right? Like, clearly, right? There's no other reason for this. Like, Satya is still a jam, like, it's...
absolutely.
I guess that's the only song that I like anyway, but...
Yeah.
Everything else is about Old Spice and Vimal suitings and Colgate.
The Colgate song. So nuts. Like, there's like all these brands like randomly throughout the film.
You didn't like Aja Aja, give me a kiss. You didn't like that one?
Give me a kiss. Yeah.
No.
Why did you have to sing it like that also, as
That's the only way to sing it. So, by the way, coming back to the Z5 interface, this movie has 3 versions on the Z5 interface. You have it in Hindi, you have it in Thai dubbing, and then you have it in Bahasa dubbing.
Wow.
Bahasi dubbing. So I wonder what, sometimes like disco dancer got really famous in Nigeria and Russia. I don't know if there's like a Thai and Bahasa community that is like loving this movie. Like, you clearly saw it in Bangkok. You had like a readily available VHS. So like, what is this? Like, maybe it's like super popular in certain countries. Who knows?
Well, it's very possible because I do stand by. I think this is the best Salman has ever looked. After like,
my God,
Men in Black.
yes.
He looks insanely handsome. Like, what the heck?
Like, even in those tank tops that are tucked into like the pants that are like halfway up his throat, like he looks so hot.
The tightest jeans ever, but. I mean, he like his eyebrows are on fleek and his lashes are like full like baby, lashes. Like I know Asim and Sujoy like literally don't care about this, but I have to mention.
No, I'm going to join in. As soon as you're done, I'm going to join in, Shakeela. Don't worry.
Like, even his mullet looks like really on point. Like, I'm just like, what?
Like, when they're at that, what is that place? Is that India Gate where they're like having that very deep sorry?
Gateway of India.
Yeah, Gateway of India. Like, they have a very deep, sudden conversation and they've really only met twice. And his hair looks so good. Like, it's just like flowing everywhere. It's like, what is this hair? Like, it's amazing. Yeah, he's hot, man. He's hot.
And
when he's talking about Khunibab and Veshama.
Yeah. As one does on a second date, right?
Yeah. Khunibab Veshyama is like Vidwa Ma Andi Van from
I know where you're going.
But I feel like his look in this film is basically what what everyone was trying to achieve at that point. Like he was like the poster boy for that, the muscled arms, the unfortunate pants that are like a little too high, the tank tops, and like Salman is basically the only person who actually looks good in that outfit. And I feel like everyone from like Amer to whoever was around at that time, like Vivek Mushran or whatever, they were all trying to be Salman, and it didn't work for anyone except for Salman.
And honestly, most of this style is back. You go to the Uniqlo website at the moment, it's all the same pants people are wearing with like turtlenecks and things like that. And I like the choice that Salman makes in this movie where either his pants are too big or either his shirt is too big. Nothing is like at the same...
He pays attention to proportions, I appreciate that.
Oh, good.
90s fashion, those baggy pleated pants. Yeah.
So let's start getting into the themes of this movie a little bit, no? Like, so one is like about the anger issue Salman has because he has a Veshama and a Khuni. What is it? Khuni dad ka Khuni. How Khuni Bab? He killed the Bab. Bab didn't khoon anybody. It doesn't. So, and when your dad is Sudhir, you're in trouble, right? Like, and like
also for the Vaishya Ma, like they found like the most like sweetest, nicest auntie on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, tumhari Vaishya Ma. I was like, what?
This is like the most miscast, because he's going Vaishya, and then they finally do the flashback and you're like, what? Her?
But she's not a Vaishya though, right?
No, but like at least like you have to be able to imagine ki like the people are like, ye Vaishya hai. But like who on earth is going to look at her and be like,
like all the mohalle wale is like, let's take Sudhir's word for it. Like, he must be right. He looks like a reliable guy, and also I felt like this scandal that's been created, how would that work in Mumbai? Like the city is too big for such a scandal. Like everybody knows his mom was a Vaishya. Like he goes to his, like apparently he's shifted neighborhoods 4 times. He helps out the kids to get the cricket ball. And he immediately like Vaishya Ma, la la la, and he starts beating him up, and all the mohalla comes in like, how does he know? Like, how big was this scandal?
Word spreads fast when it's bhai, man.
Yeah. And so the second anger that Salman also has is that he's like a struggling musician, but there's no sense of him being a musician. Like when there's a moment where he says, I love music more than Maggie. I was like, what? This is based on what in the movie? He has not composed a song. He's not singing. He's just working in a cassette factory, like a shop. And that's it. Like ek dafa guitar bajata hai, like 3 chords.
Remember in the title credits, he had a guitar. That is your clue that he loves music more than anything else.
Yeah.
And the only tune he plays is his mom's lorry. So he's not even invented any tunes.
Yeah, and he gets like all those random choices to like go do this stage show and go do that stage show like out of nowhere, like when it's convenient for the plot line.
Yeah.
I was gonna say though about the Khuni Bap and Vaishya Ma, like I feel that was like Abhiman, like downgraded version of Abhiman, right? Like that character.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Has anybody watched the original?
No.
I didn't know of its existence. Oh no.
Yeah, I also didn't know that this was a remake until the scene, and I'll tell you exactly when I figured it out without even knowing. There's that scene where Shafi Inamdar comes into the girl's bedroom and the younger sister is constantly eating ice cream, like melted ice cream for some reason. And she's like shoveling ice cream into her mouth. And Revathi is sitting on the bed and she's eating vitamin tablets. and she's eating it in a very cutesy way. And the moment I saw that scene, I was like, this film is a remake from one of the South Indian languages, possibly Tamil, because that scene is very South Indian cinema. The cutesy heroine act, that is entirely like, it's very South Indian.
Yeah, it's Revathi almost has like a Sri Devi kind of vibe, like in this movie. I felt. No, is that me or like she has like this very, and that's the one thing about this movie though, and I think that's why I probably rewatched it most time. This is the best co-star Salman has had until up to that point, discarding Sajan. You know, like. Because you go back, he had like Aisha Julka, he had Raveena Tandon, and let's be honest, you know, Maine Pyar Kiya, that was also not great acting, you know. Like Revathi is an established actress that, you know, like kind of like brought it, and I think she's really good in this movie too. I thought, you know, she was quite capable.
I like Maggie. Like, Maggie's got moxie, she's sassy, she's always up to like all kinds of nonsense, and she's got agency, and she doesn't stand for any shit. Like, she's very unlike most heroines that you see around that period. Like, you know, like the love interest heroines. Like, she goes out there and she gets her man. Like, she's the one who like pataos him basically. I like that about her.
Yeah, same here. I think that's one of the reasons why love stood out in my head is because Revathi was such an unusual pairing for Salman. And obviously back in the day I did not know it was a remake. So that heightened like, why would it be Revathi? I wouldn't have known back in the day. But it was a very unusual pairing. Like Amrita said, like his other heroines are all like very perfectly pretty and like nothing is out of place and like their hair is like perfect, but Revathi has like that realness, you know, that she brought. Like even in the scenes where she's crying or where she's sick, like she literally has no makeup on her face in the final portions of the film, which is like, I think pretty unheard of for like a 90s like opposite Salman film for that time. And I think that, you know, that brought like some tiny credibility to the film. It was just unusual because, Also, I think being Salman's heroine back in the day meant like just being arm candy because it was all about Salman, right? In 91.
What has changed?
This is true. Very true. Yeah.
I did really like their courting, like their kind of vibe together, because I think because Revathi, sorry, I really did my best. I went back, I resorted to my natural mispronunciation. I'll give Amrita a moment.
By the way, somebody wanted me to tell you that they really enjoyed your Timothy Shalimar joke. It made their day for them. They were like,
what joke? That's how I really pronounce the name. That wasn't even a joke. You guys know this. This is how I actually pronounce it. It's not a joke. No, but no, Revathi was amazing. And she really brought it, and it's like Alia Bhatt with Aditya Roy Kapoor, basically, right? Like Aditya Roy Kapoor is so pretty, Salman is so pretty. Somebody needs to bring in the talent, and I think Revathi does that here.
And I think the whole build up to Sathiya Ye Tune Kya Kiya, right? That's like the theme of that music keeps playing like an intro for several scenes until we get that song. And when she's like waiting in the graveyard for a whole day, it just it's such a cute moment, but it's kind of weird, but also totally makes sense for Maggie. She would totally do that, you know. And
I love that Salman didn't even remember until he actually ordered Maggie noodles, and he's like, "Oh, Maggie, yaad aayi. Okay, Maggie." Okay, but now that we're talking about the noodle scene, we also have to talk about Amjad Khan being in this movie, which I totally forgotten.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! Yeah, so bizarre.
I was literally scared out of my wits for Amjad in this movie. Like, like, especially when they make him dance in that song, I was like, yaar, mar jayega, don't. Like, I was like, I had to go to IMDb to see how long he lived after making this movie, and he still had like 3-4 years. But this is like really the last moments of Amjad Khan, and he's like in this weird comedy uncle zone, which I do not understand and I do not associate with Amjad Khan at all.
No, I think he passed away the following year, but he had several films that he had done already. Like Revathi was released in 93, but he passed away in 92.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe this movie did.
I feel like this movie was probably a medical bills movie. Like, you know, he needed the cash, and that's why he did it. Because there can't be like any other reason for him to be.
I mean, he did Ramgarh Ke Sholay in 91.
Yeah, he needed the cash, man.
Yeah.
I also read that, I don't know if this is true, but there's like literally nothing on this film on Google.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did find is that apparently he agreed to do it when he saw that S.P. Balasubramaniam did this same role in the original, the Telugu film.
Oh,
And
okay.
that convinced him to be like, oh, then I'll do it, because it's like he's so respectable. Yeah, no idea, but it was very weird casting, and yeah, like my heart was like in my throat the entire time, like, oh my god.
And
I do hope S.P. Balasubramaniam is doing well right now.
Yes, please, prayers for him. Like I just, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh god.
yeah, and it was also just weird because I would not associate the Amjad Khan era with the Khan era. You know, in my mind, it's like separate things. And, you know, it's that meme where, you know, Martin Luther King and like Anne Frank were born in the same year. I don't know which it was, but it's like you never connect those two things together in a way. And that was I did not see it coming. It was such a surprise. And he's not good in this role. Like, it's not a role suited for him. And I understand that he was desperate because his last few years were really, really tough on him. But it's such a weird role, and like Salman taking music lessons is the most absurd scene that there is, and then later he's confronting people and then he gets insulted. I just don't understand what they were going for in that thing, in the whole sequence of it. So yeah, that was really, really weird with Amjad Khan.
Bizarre. They even gave him a whole song, which was completely one of those like completely unnecessary songs.
But I appreciate that they made S.P. Bala sing in English because I always love that. So I am sorry.
We are made for each other. Sorry, I had to go for it.
No, you do, and like there's a few other ones that he sings in English too, right, in this movie, and I like a few lines here and there, and I always love that when the S.P. Bala does that. But so coming back to the struggles in this movie, the other one that I also felt there seems to be like a class struggle going on between Salman being poor and then Shafi Inamdar and Rita Bahaduri being rich, but I was like, they're not that rich. Like, he has a travel agency.
I mean, they live in the Andaz Apna Apna house, so they're pretty well to do.
Yeah.
It's
like the same house in every 90s movie.
Yeah,
but they're not that rich, right? Like, nobody knows her. Like,
no, but that's the rich people's house. That house is the rich people's house.
That was the
like
Bajaj
the
house.
Yeah, basically.
Asim's eyes are like blinded by like Karan Johar's British mansions. So now he looks at these things and he's like, poor people. But no.
That was rich back in the day, my friend.
That was 90s rich.
Yeah. Also, like, Salman has where is he living? He has like this random room, but he has all these like great clothes, like, you know, there's no
He's
sense
living
of
above the cassette shop.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, that's my theory. I don't know for sure.
Oh, that would make sense.
But
and he's like going. Why is Maggie taking the bus? Like, why is she going to the bus? And like, you know, there's just, why are we looking for logic in a 90s movie? We can't get into those logistical things because...
Why does she go out? Like, are there tattoo artists outside Gateway of India?
Yeah. Get a tattoo in 2 minutes.
That was the tattoo of defiance. right? Like when you need a tattoo of defiance, that's what you do, like
The tattoo artist auntie, she can't really see with her own eyes. She's
that's you need guts, man. You need commitment to your love to go to a blind tattoo artist.
But she's like writing in perfect, Devanagari. It's But like this was love in the 90s before the mobile phones, where people just used to wait. And like there is no way to communicate, so everybody's waiting for hours, just for their lover to turn up somehow. Oh dear.
Which is why you could have those dramatic situations in the movies in the 90s, which you can't anymore. Which is why nobody like even knows how to write a love story anymore.
True.
Like, why isn't he texting me back?
But it did make me nostalgic though, to a little bit, to that stupid era, like there was like something about being that young and that, lovey-dovey, where you're like writing your name in blood on the wall, when you have like a little paper cut on the forehead where you can like write like whole things, it's so intense now. It's so intense. It's crazy.
But let's talk, speaking of intense, let's talk about Rita Bhaduri as Mrs. Stella Pinto and like bonkers.
I so wish Bindu had done this role. Like, I feel like it was written for Bindu.
Yeah. It should have been amazing in that role.
Yeah. Like the evil mom from hell.
Or what's that one? I don't know. I'll Google the name while you guys talk about it. I know exactly the actress I thought.
Shashikala?
No, dude, how old are you going? I don't know this shit. Like Shashikala. Like, who is this actor? Shashikala. This is not Tolly Folly.
I thought Asim was
This is not Tolly Folly, guys.
Dude, give me some credibility. I do know who Shashikala is. And then he's like, no.
The way he's asking you who is this actress is like you just like accused him of having an affair with her. Who is this Shashika?
I didn't make out a single word what Amrita said.
Oh, no, the actress I was thinking of was Rohini Hattangadi. I think that's how they say it.
Oh gosh.
Agnipath.
Yes.
Yeah, from that
Chalbaz.
Chalbaz. That's who I thought should do the role.
Right.
Anju? Yeah, Manju. Oh man, I need to watch Chalbaz.
Yeah.
Oh.
By the way, speaking of Revathi, Ra is also on Z5.
Oh, nice.
That's a good movie.
It's actually pronounced Revathi, Sujoy.
Are you Asim-splaining now?
I also love that supporting actress Shehnaz is his sister. We've seen her in a
That
few
poor girl
roles.
was like everyone's best friend, the girl's best friend, or the sister. Like in every 90s.
At one point, she calls Salman uncle.
Yeah. That was hilarious.
Dude, when somebody comes at you with a knife, I'll call them uncle too, Like,
Just because she's eating ice cream doesn't mean she's like 12. What I really loved is like when Rita Bhaduri told Salman not to come through the door. Darwaze pe pair nahi rakhna. And he comes from the balcony and he says it right. Darwaze pe pair nahi rakha to main balcony se aa gaya.
The dialogues in this film are sensational. Like when they're at that chowpatty and like those gundas are like harassing that beggar woman and he starts beating them up and he's like out of nowhere. What was the line? I can't even remember.
I have it written. Amrita, I have it written. Of course I do. It's हर मजबूर औरत मेरी माँ लगती है याद रखना.
No, not that one. The one before that, where she was like, जब तुम्हारी माँ तुम्हें दूध पिला रही थी तो उसकी
that one. Oh my god.
So creepy.
That was like
right before that, where he's like, when your mother was breastfeeding you, was she naked then as well or something? And then and the Gunda is like, what the why you go? Is this woman your mother? And then she's like, हर मजबूर औरत मेरी माँ लगती है. And then Revathi goes back home and is like, Jesus, मुझे भी ऐसा ही लड़का चाहिए.
Exactly.
So my favorite scene is the one where Revathi comes out with the shirt, which is basically made out of the tablecloth where they play tic-tac-toe. and then like Rita Bahadur gets really furious. She's raging. She takes it off and she's about to burn it, and she like pours the whole kerosene or whatever on herself, like saying, "Agar wo jalega, to main bhi jal jaungi." And Shafi Namdar and the daughter just come, and then they're like, "Yeah, fair enough." She
they just
totally
walk away,
got
right?
that situation under control, and they just walk away. They just fucking walk away.
Yeah, he has this look of like absolute approval on his face, like, I'm so proud of my daughter.
Yeah, oh my god.
I thought he was gonna like freak out or something.
Shafi Namdar is a vibe in this movie. I swear to God. Like, you should just look
When
at
he came
Shafi.
jogging out of that room, oh my gosh.
Oh God, I was like, yeah, Shafi. And there's like, I don't know if you noticed, but at that last final of the movie, Salman is giving this emotional speech. Shafi in the background is like, what the is this guy doing? Like, just rewind and watch Shafi in that movie. It's like hilarious. It's so good.
But also the climax, like I was like watching it and I was like, oh, I didn't remember that she died at the end. And it was like, will she? Won't she?
But in the original, she dies. In the original, she dies, and I think if they would have done that, I would not have been able to handle it yesterday. Like 2020 is too much for me right now. So I'm so glad Revathi like survived.
Yeah. So she dies in the original. Didn't the climax remind you of Rockstar? Did it or did it not? I'm like 99% sure that Imtiaz stole it from this movie.
Totally. Same.
Same.
Because Imtiaz is watching these movies like us back in the day, and which is influencing like what happened to this kind of love. Like, why is it all Love Aajkal 2 now?
Yeah.
I get him. Anyway,
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I love.
No, I was just. Sorry, go ahead.
Pehle aap.
Sujoy, you go.
No, I'm done. I just have one note that is written, Mrs. Stella Pinto, if 2020 was a person.
Oh my gosh.
I love the final climactic song because it's like, it starts off with a guitar rock solo. Like, that's how it starts. Yeah. Then he faints on stage. Then Ghost Maggie comes in, and Ghost Maggie gives him a thumbs up, while real Maggie is really dying dramatically. So thodi der ke liye Atma nikli and then wapas came back. Then he sings like this super emo song, and then he wins the competition. I was just like thinking, imagine you're the audience. You paid a ticket to watch this weird ass competition, and this is what wins. It's insane. Like, the insanity of it all. But the whole thing is like absurd, because how Maggie gets killed is also kind of stupid, because her cousin kidnaps her. Her cousin Peter. Peter seems to be in like some sort of weird breakdancing crew, because he's like, but he also kidnaps on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, too funny. And also that then the movie becomes like a PSA on self-medication and how it's bad, and that's why Maggie is about to die, because she takes vitamins at the start of the movie and we never talk about it again. Like, it's like absurd
until she dies.
God.
That was such a strange plot point, though. I feel like that, I might be completely wrong about this, but I feel like that's so not a Hindi movie thing. Like, it's not a Bollywood thing. I don't know if it's a Telugu movie thing. But yeah, so yeah, like little things like that were weird. What did you guys think of the whole? I liked how they have like Maggie is Christian, this Christian family, and Prithvi is Hindu, but no, but it's never explicit. You know, they just it's just kind of there. I like that about it.
In the beginning, I was like wondering, like, where is this going? Like, why is Maggie a Christian? And then I realized, like, it just is, you know, like they just live in a syncretic society, and she's Christian and I guess he's Hindu, but he refers to himself as an atheist. So I'm just like, I like that. I like that about this film.
And the only reference they had to it was like the cross that he gives her, and then the kala dhaga that they're trying to, which was a bit
kala dhaga auntie.
The gift of Magi.
Yeah, right. And that auntie who's like, oh my god, I can't believe how in love you guys are. You can have it for free.
Yeah. I was like, auntie was like, I've been listening to you guys for 40 minutes. I've been eavesdropping. Have this kala dhaga. You know?
And off from here. You're ruining my business.
No, she gives Ashirwad at the end to like, jeete raho, you know, like, jeete raho or dusri, like, apni saas ko like, embarrass karte raho, you know, that kind of thing. Like, but he's definitely Hindu, because in the flashback we see that the mom is really into like Satyanarayan ji ki puja, and that's why she calls Sudhir, and Sudhir then, you know, gets really happy when she's dead. I always love this stuff when, you know, like people that have no kids, or no understanding of kids, write about kids, because like he's a 10-year-old kid, no way he's sleeping on the floor. Like they have like a quite grand kind of setup, like that living room where they're in, and that house seems quite big. So I don't know, Sudhir is gallivanting, but he's also, you know, taking care of business, and he has like a good home. But like it's like, you know, bilkul aate jaisa wala kid, you don't sleep on the floor when you're 10 years old, you know, like it doesn't happen. And then the mom just like lights herself on fire. It's insane. Like the whole flashback is insane.
Yeah. It's super insane.
Like this whole movie is just extras. Like everything about it. Like from the extras to the fighters to all the supporting cast. Everybody is extra. There's nothing logical about it. So
Salman's good in action though still. Like he legit like for like, you know, shitty 90s action, like the 2-3 scenes that were like forced into this, I thought he brought it, man. He's got like, and also he's like, again, like the Shah Rukh problem. These guys were so like cavalier with their bodies, you know. He's like jumping on his knees. He's doing like somersaults on the grass. He's like in that stadium in Satya. He's just like one leg on one top, one leg on the other. I was like, what are you doing, dude? Like you're gonna die. But yeah. But you didn't like the soundtrack even, Sujoy?
I only liked Satya Tune Kya Kiya, because I think that's just there. I don't really remember any other tracks.
Okay.
But did you say that the Satya is actually a copy of the original? It's originally composed by Ilayaraja? Totally.
It sounds like an Ilayaraja.
It does sound like an Ilayaraja, and it doesn't sound like an Anand Milan track.
It's a totally,
or maybe it's just
like it's completely song. If you just completely copy, just like go to YouTube, do Prema songs. I think it's the original was called. You or just put Venkatesh in it, and you'll get it. It's should I pronounce this? Should I try this? Does anybody speak Telugu by the way of us? Does anybody?
No.
Oh, phir to chalta hai. I think it's called Innadu Edu Ind. That's the song. It's the same song. And then the other one is also the Aja Aja Give Me a Kiss is also copied. And then, but the Priyatama song is totally different. And I actually like the Hindi version better than the original one. Yeah. But
you can hear it because that's the only one that actually sounds like Anand Milan. Everything else is definitely not Anand Milan.
Yeah.
Like, stylistically so different.
And I did used to like that song in my emo 90 days. Like I did like it. Yeah. And now re-listening to it, I was like, what was I on? Like this is... but the other problem is also it's badly dubbed. Like the audio and the video is out of sync in at least the print that we found. and it just makes everything worse. Like it's just like it's not syncing well. But I don't know. Maybe I watched it like that on VHS, and I don't even remember. So I do remember really well that as a kid I used to, there was that brand song with all of the brands, and I didn't know any of the brands, so it was kind of cool to see what like Indian people eat and drink and wear. So that I kind of liked. And
anthropology
via Colgate and Vimal suitings.
And Sun brand umbrella or something like that. I was like, they got really specific.
And let's go have thumbs up in sun and sand.
I hope they got paid. Like we're getting paid for all of that. Free endorsement.
I was
remember how they
wondering
did it in
about
the Bung too, or which one was it?
Yeah, with the phones,
With the
right?
phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. No, I wonder, like either they had no brand endorsement and they did this shit for free, or they funded 90% of the movie just with this one song, and then the 20% was on Salman Khan's tailor's budget, which he paid out of pocket. Because like nobody has itna kapda pant mein kahan layenge bhai, like that's too much. You have to pay. Kuch concession karna padega,
So I'm looking at the director Suresh Krishna's filmography, and he's done another Salman movie called Jagruti, which I haven't seen.
God.
And both Love and Jagruti's rights to the film are owned by Red Chillies now.
Please, yeah.
I cannot wait to discuss Jagruti with you guys. I know exactly the guest I'm gonna ask for it, and you're gonna be trembling and crying in your boots when we do that movie.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
You'll hate me so
forward
much.
To that, but
you'll hate me so much, and I love it so much.
But that's what a movie you hate, it makes for a good episode, as I said, right? We've had such a laugh.
I feel like I've watched Jagruti at some point, but I can't remember. I'll have to look at who was the woman in it.
Charisma.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Gosh, I literally cannot remember that movie. What it was about.
I watched it. I can't remember, but
yeah.
I always get confused between Jagruti and Nischay. Which one is which?
Nischay is the one with Vinod Khanna.
Okay.
And he
Jagruti
has
is the one with Puneet Issar and.
He trains in the jungle and he becomes Rambo and he comes back with an Adivasi martial arts training type.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You're gonna love it. You're gonna hate it. It's gonna be amazing.
He was Tiger Shroff before Tiger Shroff.
Yeah. I feel, and Shakeela, you were mentioning this, you cannot find anything about this movie, and also you pretty much can't find this movie. It's not streaming anywhere. Yeah. It was on Z5. It's not working there. YouTube has a Bahasa print only on it, and then Dailymotion kind of came through. And when you get to Dailymotion, you've tried everything else.
Yeah. Aur kuch nahi hai re baba.
That's when you get to Dailymotion. So, I just gotta say, and it has no subtitles, so again, people don't, there's no reason to watch this movie, and there's no making of, there's no lehre, there's no interviews. I tried all of these things, there's nothing. So this podcast is going to be the only discussion about
credible
this movie.
Source.
Yeah, this is gonna when monkeys take over, they're gonna find 1-2 hour podcast about this movie that they cannot find. So interesting, right?
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's one of those because the ones that are bad in my head, like Jagruti, for instance, stay that way. But Love was something that back in the day, I pretty much thought it was something very, very good and unique.
Profound. I thought it had something profound to say about love back in the day.
I did too.
And now watching it, I was like, yeah, it doesn't.
Exactly. I'm like, what am I watching? What was I thinking? This is why, the love life is in the state that it's in. Because, what the heck is this? Where are the tattoos on the hand and the blood on the wall and, rebelling against your mom? Like, no.
I was gonna say this movie has no stakes. Like the end stakes are basically or watch Revathi die or go to this singing competition. And I was like, why are we in this place after 2 hours making these choices? Like why? Like there's no point.
Yeah.
And then like the whole idea about is like, Salman should be controlling his anger, and then he brings back Revathi alive by his anger. And then the title at the end is, love can create miracles. And I was like, no, I think anger can create miracles. Like this is the point of the movie.
No,
like
angry love can
because-
create miracles.
No, especially because like he brings her back to life by yelling at her.
Yeah.
It's not even,
Yeah.
it's
He
not
literally
even
like
his love.
throws her like on the pillow. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I honestly kind of wish he had died. I feel like that would have made for
Mar
a
ja tu
better-
sali.
that would have made a better film. Like however much better it can get. But it's so funny to me how like I feel like 1991 Salman has like no relation to like present day Salman. I like
Yeah.
refuse to believe they're the same person.
But like, you can really see how tired Salman looks today. Like, like the way his eyes droop and he just looks like he's done with all of us. Like he's just like he like literally hates his audience
Yeah.
at this point.
Like you want me to do
just
more
really
shit?
see
I've been
that.
doing shit for 30 years, like marne do mujhe salo, But it's also just funny because Revathi is now playing mom to Alia Bhatt in 2 states, and Salman was almost going to star with Alia Bhatt as a romantic lead in Inshallah. So it's just like, what are we even doing at this point,
So glad that's not happening. So glad.
Oh God. What I also love that there's like things escalate so quickly in this movie. Like Rita Bhadru is like straight up whipping Revathi in a scene, and then the second scene she's like, "Oh, beti college ja rahi hu, main chhod deti hu." Like what? You were whipping me 7 hours ago. Like what is this?
And like Shafi Inamdar just is there. Yeah,
He's
sure
such
does.
a useless dad, man. My God.
Yeah.
He
I think
does.
a lot of these were like oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. A lot of these movies, yeah.
I was gonna say again. I think a lot of these were just, like set pieces that were popular back then.
Yeah.
They don't have any relation to like an actual story. It's just you want to see the young woman rebelling against her parents. You want to see him like saving her. Like all of this, like these were the popular, the popular formula back then.
And there
And I
is
think
no
again-
serious like justification to why Rita Bhadri is the way she is. She just is. She's like
Precisely.
Hitler ma, and that's the only explanation that's given. And she's just supposed to be this all-consuming evil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Basically, Bollywood was written like fanfic today. Like, इस chapter में ये होगा, उस chapter में वो होगा.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, very happy you picked this movie.
I'm so sorry to put you guys
/S.
through that. /S, that's right.
I think the only apology can be accepted if you sing it as Amjad Khan in this movie. That's the only way.
Oh my god. I can't. Only Sujoy can do that SP.
We are made for each other.
Exactly.
Oh God. Good.
Yeah.
I think we're done. No, I think for for a time of when apocalypse happens, I think this is going to be SEO की उधार दी हमने. Like.
Yeah. Honestly, like anybody who looks for love 1991, like they're gonna find your podcast. So at least
Our
I can
podcast.
claim that for you.
That is 100%. That
Literally
was
nothing else.
that was our ultimate goal, and I'm glad we reached it. And also, Shakeela, I'm happy because like nobody would have picked this movie, and you did, you know. And I think this deserves recognition, you know. It's good. It's good.
Thank you.
So people that listen to this podcast in a post-apocalyptic era, Shakeela, where can they find you online?
Right now, I'm only on Twitter at get_filmy. So yeah, that's it. Nowhere else right
and
now.
I strongly suggest people follow Get Filmy on Twitter because it brings me so much joy, and the thappad you slap to the industry and so many different people really makes me happy. I love it.
I try.
Amrita, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at AmritaIQ, and you can also find me on YouTube at Amrita by the Book.
Sujoy?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram at @93k.
I'm at Asim Bernie. You can follow us at upodcasting@gmail, or drop us an email at upodcasting@gmail.com, or follow us at Khandaan Podcast or at upodcasting.com. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode. And what else was I going to say? Leave us a review. It's been a while. Would be cool. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thanks for listening.
Khandaan Podcast और acting